Hey everybody, it's Marty the JavaScript Party and my buddy Rhett. It is 7:54 a.m. Monday, May 12th. I think it's raining outside and it is probably around 62, 63 degrees Fahrenheit. Things are going to be a little different here for me today because last night one of our neighbors showed up at our door and um, brought a very young dog that looks kind of like a husky, some sort of mix, but it looks beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous dog. Um, but it is trying to. It was pretty late last night, like 6 o'clock and 6 p.m. And it was so it's kind of just started to settle in. They found him like leashed to a bench, a park bench, at the park that adjoins our house. And the girl, she's probably right at 20 years old, maybe 22. And she lives across the street. We don't really know her that well. There's a Mexican restaurant we like to eat at, and she's a waitress there too. So every once in a while we'll chat with her there. And she was just like a tear in her eye. She's like, I found this dog and my parents won't let us keep it. Can you please let it spend the night here and I can come back tomorrow and take it to the pound? And we were like, nah, you can leave it here, and then if you decide you want to keep them, you can keep them. You can come get them, or if you find the owner and they want them, they can have them. They can come get them. Um, but in the meantime, he can stay here, and we'll hang on to him. That is him barking right now. So the one reason I don't think he's a husky is because he doesn't howl, he doesn't go oh 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 or anything like that. He was quiet all night, slept in the kennel all night long, and it's just super sweet. Not particularly fast for this kind of dog. So I think either it's the mix or maybe he just hasn't got a lot of exercise. But he's gorgeous. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know exactly what's going on. Rhett's looking at him right now, like, hey. Rhett and him seem to get along great. We have a couple of cats that don't like him, so they spent the night outside. But anyway, so I am working on unit tests, and we're doing pretty good. Um, so let's see, run test. We'll let that pop up. And today is a full moon, and I'm starting to wonder, like, if it is useful to sort of just keep tabs on that. I mean, I don't think I want to become like a full. I'm an Aries with the rising Pisces or something like that. Like I don't think I want to get all into that, but I do think that we seem to have some sort of response to the lunar cycles and all that. So where I am, it is a Monday and a full moon, so maybe it's important. I feel very energetic. I slept really well last night, and so I don't know, but we're doing pretty good. All our unit tests are passing. We only have two running at this point. So let's go ahead and see what we got here. I think we were working on the app, if I remember correctly. I think I am really starting to like unit tests a lot more. I didn't, I was very, it's like my gut tells me unit tests are a waste of time. But like you can't ignore something that so many people just really believe in. So, and not only that, but like, there's not a huge profit incentive to unit tests, to doing unit tests. So, it's like, you know, like, I always add a sort of an extra level of, what would you call it? Skepticism whenever somebody that's trying to push something can gain financially through that. And like most of the people I know that are pushing unit tests don't really, like they're already working full time. They're not going to get any extra money, and they want to do unit tests. So I definitely didn't want to just out of hand, but reject it. But one of the things that we did talk about was that I wanted to sort of try to break away from try to make this function as pure as possible. And so I guess what I did yesterday was I created a function that literally just gets the visualizations off of the component attributes and passes it to another function. Now, the one problem with the other function is then it needs access to the component's state. So I had literally like yesterday said, oh, I want to just sort of read over this so that I can think about it through the day and in my sleep and stuff like that. I did actually dream about this a little bit. But so I think what we do need is like another layer of, so this guy could be completely pure, but it passes this function, a function in that cares about the state. I believe the way it's getting called, it will know the state. So it's not like I don't care that it has access to the state. I think what I care about is that it doesn't need access to the state. So we will have like a function that needs access to the state. It calls another function that doesn't need access to the state, but then calls a function that needs access to the state again. And so that should be an interesting thing. And then I was kind of thinking about this and sort of dreaming, having these really wild dreams about this. And it was kind of like, man, like this will be very difficult to work backwards from. So like if you're looking at the bottom one and you're trying to work your way back up, trying to understand everything that's going on, probably it won't be bad like if they're in the same fold file, but if they are in different files and then there's layers of abstraction between those, it could be extraordinarily difficult to sort of work your way backwards from this. But anyways, this is kind of the point, is to try things out where I could try it out in my personal project and not have to worry about and not, I think it's unprofessional to kind of do craftsmanship in your work, in your actual work. And craftsmanship is a real Gen X thing. Like Gen Xers love to be like, oh, I want to be the master of my craft. And that's not something that I've seen. And I'm not criticizing. Actually, this is a compliment to the other generations. They don't get so fixated on, trying new things. Like, oh, I saw someone in a video do something yesterday, so now I'm going to come here at work and try to do it in my work, and then find out why wasn't actually a good idea. That was not a positive thing. That craftsmanship has a sort of positive connotation, but it really isn't a positive thing for work. Like that's a thing that you should hone your craft on your time while you're while you're working on being a better professional. You should be a professional at your job when you're getting paid. That's just my opinion. I know I'm saying it in a way that's like, oh no, like a preachy way. I don't mean it in a preachy way. So anyways, I think what I'm going to try to do is try to pull this logic out of here and put it into its own function. And I'm hoping, and I think I have to do like a bind this and all that stuff I guess it's from here to here. I want to do that. So I could do it as an arrow function. I don't know if I get credit as passing this if I make it an arrow function. But I know if I do a bind, it will get credit for it. And honestly, like for unit tests, I'm growing as a unit test person. So at first it was just like, get unit tests just to work. And then it was like, okay, get 100%. Then it was like, okay, get 100%, but every suite has to do its own 100%. It can't be a side effect. And, maybe, with time I'll come up with another more like the spirit of unit tests kind of thing. But anyway, so I want to pull this out and create a function called, what does this thing do? Create. So it creates a visualization for the component, right? So create viz for component. Oh, Brett. Through all the excitement, I forgot to give you your nut. There you go. Create viz for component. And this is going to return a Boolean. So I've gotten away. I used to do a lot of voids. I do remember early on in my software development sort of growth, maybe in the first few years, there was a big push for people to say never ever do voids. Like they wanted, I think there was even some languages that wouldn't allow void. You had to at least return a Boolean true. And now I'm kind of starting to see like the benefit. There's definitely a huge benefit for unit testing, right? Because then you have something to do an assertion against. But anyways, create viz for component, and it accepts a viz component. So basically this. And basically, I think what we want is everything in here. Since that is the same name. I think I got rid of something. I got rid of my closing bracket. Closing time. And then basically, what is set as? I wonder if set as initial. Okay, so we'll just return that. So we're expecting it true, right? Basically, that we have set that as initialized. And we want to go over here and just kind of make sure this still works after we change this. So that's the first step, is we don't want to actually break the application. And then the second step is we want to get our coverage. So let's just try. I guess we want to do this. Let's just try. This dot create viz form component. Viz component. And I don't know if this will work. I think it'll work. I'm pretty sure it's going to work. But I don't think we're going to get 100% coverage off of this, the way we drew this. And that's really what we're working on right now. Yep, so it still works. Now, let's go look at this. Yeah, see how now we still don't have that. So what we really want is to change this to this. Like that. Now, I think the problem with that is I don't think this will actually work. I think what this will do is, while it will give us 100% coverage, see, now we have 100, well, we do have coverage of that line. I don't think it'll actually work. I think we're going to be missing context. No, we are not. Oh.
What?
Apparently, yeah, I don't know. For some reason, it's breaking, yeah, visualization service. So it can't find the visualization service. So then I think what I have to do is bind. And I will say that this is becoming more comfortable for me. Like, so when I first started this project, this whole kind of binding things and all that was very foreign to me, and I have gotten sort of where I feel a lot better about that from writing unit tests. So that's a positive. Yeah, so now it's working again. And I believe we will have coverage. Oh, this was the line that we were losing coverage. Yeah. So now we have coverage of that. So now we want to try to get coverage of this one. Because when it gets run as part of just like the component being initialized, we're never, there aren't any, so we don't have to do that. So, but this will be a lot easier, I think, to to mock. I think this will be easier to write a unit test. And I do think, in my experience, ChatGPT does a great job of doing that task of, hey, I want to mock this, so let's just try that, and then see if we can figure out. Because the hard part, I think, is going to be like, what do we do about this line of code? Like, I have a good solid feeling for, okay, so we mock this and we create an initialized function. We mock an initialized function, but like, how do we mock visualization service, or do we use visualization service? I don't really want to unit test visualization service from here, so I would rather mock it, and that's kind of a new idea for me. But anyways, I have this function, and I would like help with writing a unit test, and I don't want to spend an hour and a half grinding through it. I'd rather just ChatGPT tell me what to do, and then me kind of work backwards from the solution. So I want to unit test this function with Karma Jasmine. And I don't know if it's, sometimes sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't. So here, yeah, so it's saying, hey, let's spy on that. So literally yesterday I was saying, like, I don't even know why I'd want to spy on something, but I could see, I don't really care if it gets called though. So, all right, so it's saying that I can just create like this. And it actually is just like, hey, this line here, this ain't gonna work. Oh, wait a second. It wrote the whole thing. False. All right. So it's saying that I should create this visualization service spy. And then, yeah, I don't know about that. Okay, so this is my mock viz component. Okay. So, and it's creating my mock viz component up here, and I don't really want to do that, so let's do this just for now. We'll put that. We're going to create a new assertion, create viz for component. Okay. So I do like this. So we're going to grab this, and we are going to go into our spec. We're going to add a new spec. And I think that name is good. And we're going to close it. And we're going to do that. And we're going to do that. So we closed the function, the callback function. We closed the describe arguments list. And then we added a semicolon at the end. And then we want to, do we want to do this? I don't. Okay, I'm just going to do this for now, just to see what happens. I think we're going to have to import this visualization service for this to work. Well, wait. So now we are wanting to create a mock of this. So we have a visualization service, SPY. This is new stuff for me. This is totally new. I've used it before. I've definitely used it. I don't know why you wouldn't make that a const, though. Well, probably because it's not. Well, I don't know. Hopefully I can remember to come back and try this. Then apparently inside of the function itself, we sort of mock out individual functions. And we're going to mock out is initialized, rendered input, and that's for our, okay, mock service, our mock biz. Okay, so let's do that too. And I think we already have, well, we probably don't actually already have that one either. Yeah, so viz component. So I would love to be able to like go forward on this. Like right now, basically I had it build it out and I'm working backwards. You know, which you do have to understand things to work backwards, but you don't have to understand it nearly as well as to go forward. Like, okay, start from nothing and then write this out. Now over here, for our mock component, we create 3 fake functions or methods, as some people like to call them. And then, so mock viz component.
Hello.
So it doesn't exist yet. So I think before each they must create that. Spy. So let's grab this and try to do that here. And then let's do that. I'm going to pause for just 1 second. Well, no, because I can't. It will create a new video. Oh, so my son was trying to call me. I'm sure it's about the dog, because he has dogs and they usually come over in the daytime, and he was very nervous about bringing his dogs, them bringing their dogs over with the new dog here. But I was like, this dog doesn't have a mean bone in its body. It is just the absolute like non-aggressive dog. But anyways, so now we are now mocking our visualization service SPY. And now we need to create our, I don't know why okay. Component, your component, and then mock viz component. This is very new to me. I mean, I've definitely done it before, but it's been more of like a copy this, fiddle around with it a little bit, get it to work, and move on to the next story because there's only 3 days left in the sprint kind of thing. Okay, so that is working. So now we are mocking our viz component. Now, for some reason, it doesn't like this one. And it looks like we want this here. No. So this was all happening before everyone, but I decided to do it in here. And then for some reason, this line here is not working. And I feel like it may need to be set somehow. But I don't see how. What is it complaining about? Oh, it wants a number. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a number 1. I don't know. We'll try that. So that's kind of funny. Okay, that makes sense. I'm a bit distracted. I apologize. And then I guess we'll get a result. And we will see what happens if that... And what did we name it before? I think it's called... Oh, okay. When I went and got a component before... Yeah, I had to do this, and I named it app. So this is our component. I must have done that for another test yesterday. I kind of remember doing this yesterday. This is probably not where I want this code to be, but... I'll name this component. Okay, so that, and it seemed to recognize that it would have a create app for Viz. So it definitely recognizes that that's an app component. Oh, it failed. Okay, create Viz component. I don't understand this. Okay, so... Okay, first of all, the first thing to do is just sort of comment all of this out and see if this is in fact what's broken. Because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Sometimes, nope, so that is not even what's broken. So, what is broken? Create Viz. It's saying that there's a problem with create Viz for component, which is this one. And it does not, oh. Silly Billy. Okay. That? No? No? Okay, so that wasn't wrong. Okay, describe with no children. Okay, so it wants something. So let's just do this. Okay. Let A equals 1. Is that our problem? And I don't know if maybe that's the issue, is that it's completely jacked up now. It's all jacked up. Hey, Dakota. Oh, Dakota. So we restarted the unit tests just to make sure that that's not what the problem is. All right, so it is not happy, even with this. So now I'm just going to comment that out, see if we can get back to where we were at. Okay, so what am I doing wrong? Oh my gosh. Shouldn't be it describe. Should be it. I swear, I have seen it. I have done it a million times, and I have seen other developers. Something very simple like this will be the problem, and you just spend hours and hours and hours trying to mess with this code here before you figure out. That's why I think it's so important to back up, get to a point where everything's working, where your brain is in sync with what's happening, and then go from there. That is my philosophy. So now we'll just start bringing stuff in. And oop. And oop. And I cannot imagine how this comment is breaking anything. And then, and it's good to have wins, right? Just from a purely psychological perspective, like it's good to have wins. Now this one, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to work or not. So that worked. That worked. Oh, that worked. I said it before I even. I feel like we did code very similar to this before. I think just the fact that it kind of caught that problem with this being a string before kind of gave me a false sense of, oh, I understand what's going on. But, you know, like sometimes you don't know what you're doing. I mean, it's just the nature of software development. Sometimes you do not know what you're doing. And, you know, you have to figure out ways of getting to a point where you know what you're doing. And then sometimes you can do stuff and you can be like, oh, I got it working, but you don't understand what's going on. And then sometimes you could do stuff and you can get it working and you don't understand what's going on and you can't figure out why it's working, you know, like, and you know, those are kind of situations that you have to, like, if you're in that situation, you have to acknowledge it, keep doing it over and over again. Every time you do it, you'll see a little bit more, a little bit more will become obvious to you, and then next thing you know, you understand it. So that is the big one. Like if that one works, cannot read property of undefined reading offset width. So I don't understand where offset width is coming from. But for some reason in this create component, at some point, it ends up checking for offset width, and I don't know where that is happening. But that problem goes away when we get rid of this. So when we run this function, create component, and it's probably in here, but it's weird because I thought we were mocking that, but maybe. See, I think this is because we inject it. So I don't even think this is doing anything. Oh wait, no, that is component, create viz for component, mock viz component. Mock viz component. I think the service is actually using the real service. So, and it's not using my visualization service. Okay, let's look at what it gave us and let's just see if I missed anything. Mock. See, I don't think it's using this visualization spy service. And it's saying when I create my component, I should pass in visualization spy service, but it's not. I'm not. App component. And we create it by this, which, yeah, I don't. Okay, so so I don't think, okay, so if that is true, I don't think we need this. I don't think it'll change anything at all. And this. All right, so I think what I need to do, and I just don't have time. I gotta make a phone call because I thought, like, literally right after my phone was ringing, my wife answered the phone. So I thought, oh, okay, my son has called my phone. But now listening to their conversation, I do not think that they did that. So one of these lines here, probably this line here. So this is in the actual component, probably is where that visualization, yeah, that offset is. So then when we go into here, this element doesn't. Okay, so using Angular and the service, the visualization service is added with the inject function. Function, not the constructor. So like before the inject function, you would put it in the constructor. So that's how you would do this. But that's how you would tell it what the service is. But okay, so what is this? Okay, this is my test. So they're saying that Jasmine creates spot. I think this is different. But see, I don't want to do that for everything. All right, I'm gonna have to take another run at this tomorrow. Anyways, everybody, hope you all have a wonderful week. Remember, it's full moon, so people get a little weird today. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's full moon for everybody. Like, I guess it's not like a full moon. I wonder how that works. If it is a full moon for me in Atlanta, GA, is it a full moon for people in California or India and India? This shows how little I understand the way astrophysics works, or astro whatever it is. Oh, it is the same. So it's a full moon in Atlanta, then it's also a full moon in California and a full. Okay. So hey, everybody, it is a full moon for all of us. We're all in this boat together, and it is a Monday, I think, for all of us. And so, yeah, people are gonna act. You'll probably act squirrely today, and the people around you will probably act squirrely today too. So, hang in there. Bye. Happy coding.